Hi guys, I thought I'd do another try a chapter tag today. I actually set up my tripod because the last video just had a whole lot of chin. So as you might have seen from one of my previous videos, I did a try a chapter tag with some of the oldest books on my physical TBR, and I still had a lot of books at the end of that that I didn't really get a chance to read. So I've got another pile here. A lot of these, I think, again, are going to be a bit young for me, although some of them maybe not. Some of them are some fantasy that I just have heard absolutely nothing about, so I don't know what that's going to be like. So the first one I've got here is The Eagle of the Ninth, or the Ninth, by Rosemary Sutcliffe. Let's just find out what this is about. Okay, so it seems to be about a boy going on a journey to find his father in Roman times, I believe, after he disappeared. It sounds like it's got something to do with war. And yeah, I have owned this for ages and never tried to pick it up. Yeah, it's definitely Roman. There's a couple of pictures at the front that are definitely Roman-esque. So I'm just going to dive into this one. So, kind of like last time, I think I'm going to be just unhauling this one. I think that I don't quite know if it's the narration style of who we're following or it's just the way that this is written, but it seems to be written in quite an arrogant way. There's a lot of words in here that, unless you specifically have a lot of knowledge in the field, I don't think you'd know what they were, so I found that the sentences didn't really flow because I kept on hitting words I was like, I'm not sure what that means. So yeah, I think it's also quite young. So this one is going to get unhauled, and on to the next one. So the next one I've got here is The Angel Stone by Livy Michael. Now, I probably bought this because of the cover, although I would never buy something like this nowadays. The writing is quite enormous. Apparently someone was using an old football card as a bookmark in it. Right, I'll keep that. I don't know what this is about. I didn't realise this, but I think this might be quite religious, which I probably should have guessed by angel. But yeah, so I'm not a big fan of Christian texts. They're just not for me in terms of what I choose to read about, so I think I'll just have to see whether or not I like this one. So let's just get into it. Well, that was confusing. Yeah, not for me. I don't know if I could even explain what this is about after reading the first chapter, so it seems like it's going to be dual timelines, although it sounded from the back as if both timelines, like the characters from both timelines, meet each other, although given the fact that one of the timelines is 1604, I don't understand how. It made it sound like it was kind of time travel, but not. And so it starts off with the main girl, Kate, who wakes up in a cathedral seeming to have no idea who she is, why she's there, or what's happened. So it looks like some sort of an amnesia story. But throughout the chapter, she starts saying things as if she remembers everything. And I don't know whether or not that was intentional on the part of the author to make it sort of mysterious for the reader, but it just sounded like she wasn't ready to commit to the whole amnesia thing. Also, Kate seems to be in the room alone with this old guy who doesn't exactly defend himself when Kate accuses him of killing someone. and she's scared of him for about 5 seconds until he's like, oh, don't be afraid, and then that's fine, and then she just goes with him, and yeah. It's just, I don't get it, so. And that one is going on the Unhaul pile. Oh, sorry, Reggie. Scared my dog. Right, so the next one I have, it looks like I probably bought it at a library sale. It has Fiction K on the side. So this is Thunder Oak by Gary Kilworth. Ooh, glare of the window. Again, it looks like something I would have bought in primary school because of the fact that it had an animal on the front. So it looks like it's about an otter. Oh no, a weasel. Okay, so it looks like this book is going to be a commentary on sort of discrimination and bringing that as a concept to the attention of younger readers, as the main character is a weasel and they are sort of under the rule of the stoat. The main character looks like he's forming some sort of resistance, but it's quite futile. So he decides to get some humans involved, which, I mean, given how humans normally treat the wildlife and the environment around them, I don't think that that's going to be particularly helpful to their plight, but we shall see. Anyway, I bought this so incredibly long ago, so I don't know if this is going to be the sort of book that I'd enjoy now, so I'm just going to give it a go and see. So, I personally think this one really does hold up. I think that it would be a really good book to teach young people about the discrimination and the class system and that sort of thing, but I think that for me it's just not going to be a book I enjoy at my current age, so I'm going to unhaul this one as well and move on to the next one. The next one I've got here is Spirit by Gwyneth Jones. It still has the sticker on it from when I bought it from Oxfam for $1.99. Oh, that's very unsatisfying. Oh well. So yeah, I'm assuming this is adult high fantasy, but I've just really never heard anything about it, good or bad, really. So I don't know whether or not it's just something that got published and then sort of fell by the wayside. So the back of this is a little bit confusing. I think that the back is sort of giving the past storyline and the book itself follows the present day storyline. So the back describes that a young girl who survived a massacre is given a choice to become one of the general's concubines or his wife's servant, which she chooses to be the wife's servant, which good on her. And the book follows on years later after the young girl and the wife get buried alive. Looks like some sort of animal has been eating the side of this. Anyway, I'm gonna read the first chapter of this and see what I think. So with this one, I think I will get rid of it actually, but I think that the storyline was quite compelling. I think that we're still in the sort of past timeline from the back of the book, and I actually ended up reading 2 chapters because the first one was like 2 pages and more like a prologue. But what I couldn't really get my head around was the magic system and what seems to be the law. I'm sure that it would get explained, but I found that sort of aspect of the story incredibly clunky, because sometimes it sounded like they were almost talking in modern terms, and sometimes it talked like as if things were as a result of sort of sorcery and magic. Yes, Reggie? Are you gonna go back to sleep? So yeah, it's not, I don't think, going to be for me in terms of the world building, but I did think the story was interesting. But yeah, I think that this one is going to be Unhauled as well. Okay, sorry if the angle suddenly changed. My sister FaceTimed me. So, I can't remember whether or not I introduced the next book. So the next one is The Girl with Glass Feet by Ali Shaw. I probably would have picked this one up because of the cover and... Right? Do not lick the paws when I'm doing a video, because you make disgusting noises. Okay, you just sit there snoring. So I think this is a book about a girl who is slowly turning into glass. I don't know if the rest of the plot is like not fantastical and the only fantastical element is the fact that she's turning into glass, but I just thought this book was very, very pretty. It's got very shiny silver end pages. Look at that highlight. So yeah, I'm gonna read a chapter of this and see what I think. So yeah, I think I'm going to get rid of this one too. I think the prose are just too flowery for me. From the discussion of the sort of technology available in this world, it sounds like it's sort of modern day, but it's just so it's so dense and hard to get through given the, I think, overuse of metaphor. Like the line I just read was, crows wheeled in a sky of oily rags. So it's just, I think there's too much metaphor, and I think that it could do with just saying things a bit more straight to the point. And yeah, I don't even think I could describe the plot of the first chapter. I don't think we met the girl with the glass feet. It sounds like we're following a boy who likes to take photographs, but yeah, just not for me. On to the Unhaul stack. So the next one I've got here looks like another one I would have bought in sort of primary school, given the fact that it had animals on the cover. And let's see what this one is about. This one is Urchin of the Riding Stars by M.I. Mcallister. So it looks like it's about an orphan who's adopted and who has apparently an important part to play in sort of, it looks like a sort of resistance story. They have a very kindly king and queen who are either dethroned or killed. Some new rulers seize power and start sort of killing off the weak in order to create a sort of strong army or society. Given the plastic, this is another one I probably got from a library book sale. But yeah, I don't think this is going to quite be for me. I'll give this one a go. I think it still holds up for young readers. I'd still recommend it. But yeah, it's just gonna not be for me. Although I think that if any sort of young kids really don't deal very well with death, that's something that definitely happens like within the first couple of pages. So just a warning, I guess. But other than that, I thought it was well written and sweet, but onto the Unhaul pile. So the second to last one I have is The Princess and the Captain by Anne-Laure Bordeaux. I probably bought this because of the cover. I think that it's a beautifully illustrated artwork. I can't remember a thing about what this is about though, so let's have a look. So this sounds like the story of a young princess who escapes from her family in order to avoid a political marriage, and then a boy who is sent on a mission to find her. I don't know how old either of the characters are in this, so we shall have to see. But yeah, again, I think this is probably going to be too young for me at this point, but I will certainly give it a go. Just kick the tripod. Okay, so yeah, this is too young for me, although I did think it was incredibly well written, and I think that the story has an incredibly strong-minded female main character, so I would definitely recommend this to younger readers, but again, not for me, so I'm going to be unhauling this one. And the last one that I pulled from my shelves looks like I bought it for about 50p, I think, at Sue Ryder's, and it's called The Silvered by Tanya Huff. And again, I would have picked that up because of the cover, although I do think it looks quite dated now. It looks to be quite steampunk, I would say, given the sort of, oh god, what's that called? I've got eyeglass in my head and I can't get it out to think of anything else. Telescope. Is it telescope? Anyway. Whatever it is, and the sort of magical glowy thing on her hand. So let's see what this is about. I can't believe that when this was new it was $24. So maybe someone bought this in the US and brought it over. I don't think I bought it in the US. Okay, that was an enormous synopsis. Like, the synopsis takes up the entirety of the front inside flap and half of the back inside flap, and I think it could have done with being about half that, because in terms of what's included in the synopsis, I'm assuming that it's going to take quite a lot of the book to get to that point in the plot, so I feel like a lot of that would have been surprising had it not been talked about. It sounds like it's about a sort of alliance between a group of sort of werewolf shapeshifters and sorcerers who can control like an elemental magic, and there's a group trying to take them down, and they've captured 5 pregnant women and they needed 6, and there are 2 young people trying to warn the leader of the pack. But yeah, the synopsis just gives so much away. Again, I do think that I'm going to be a bit young for this one now, but I'll read the first chapter and have a look. I think it's one of the longer first chapters compared to some of the others. Yeah, this first chapter is like 30 pages, so we'll see what I think. Okay, I'm just going to pause this while I figure out whether or not Thomas and Harry are going to be a thing, because they're freaking adorable together. So I'm going to figure that out before I decide whether or not I'm going to continue with this one. Also, in one of the books, I found this bookmark which I thought I'd lost. Sorry, I just kicked the tripod again. So I collect these sort of China cats, and so I'm glad I found this bookmark before I just gave away the book, so that was a good find. Okay, so I've just read a couple of reviews. Oh, again, kicking the tripod. I need to shift my leg. Right, so I've just read a couple of reviews about this online, and it looks like Thomas and Harry won't be a thing. I also read a couple of spoilers, so oops. Anyway, the particular review that I just read, I'll link that down below because I think it explained it very well, commented on the fact that the main character, Thomas, is continually pining over Harry practically the whole book, but the reader is supposed to believe that he's completely straight, and the fact that the author has commented on making her books inclusive, but apparently there's about one mention of a same-sex couple near the very end of the plot, blink and you'd miss it, and she basically said that all the characters are sort of like, oh, you can choose their sexuality unless they state otherwise, but there's nothing actually in the book to, or in her books, to support that. So I think that's going to be a big letdown, and I think that even though I thought the first couple of pages were relatively solid, it does read very young, and now that I've read from reviews that the pairing that I want isn't going to be endgame, I'm just kind of put off, so yeah, I'm just going to get rid of this one as well. So, yet again, after trying all these books, it looks like I'm going to be getting rid of all of these. So that's another, I didn't pick out 10, did I? 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. So this is going to be another 8 books that are going to be leaving my shelves by the end of the month. And you'll see them in my monthly Unhaul. So yeah, if you want to watch the previous video in this series, I'll link that one down below in the video description. And yeah, I probably have about 9 more books that I could do this with, so I'll probably be filming another one of these relatively soon. Hopefully there'll be some books in that stack that I actually want to keep and continue to read. And if not, then it just means there's more room on my shelves, books that I know that I'm absolutely going to love. Or I hope that I am. But yeah, so thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.